Cardinale. Entertainment all day. Click, dive deep. Color on the screen runs free. Tropical fins, bright reef. Whole ocean.
I'm Alex Cardinale, and I personally would like to welcome you to this presentation of the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. I hope you enjoy this special live stream right here on A.C.E.
Dive into Amazonian Week with Alex Cardinale. Join Alex Cardinale, host and CEO of Alex Cardinale Entertainment, for an unforgettable journey into the heart of the Amazon. From Sunday, June 21st to Sunday, June 28th, embark on an incredible adventure on the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. What to expect? Explore the wonder of the Amazon. Discover the majestic Amazon River and the lush rainforest that surrounds it. Meet the wildlife. Learn about jaguars, anacondas, and other unique animals that call the Amazon home. Amazonian fish. Dive into the world of Amazonian fish species, with over 85% available in the aquarium hobby. Intriguing stories. Delve into the crimes and tragedies that have unfolded in South America. By the end of this week-long event, you'll have gained a wealth of knowledge about the Amazon's natural beauty and its fascinating inhabitants. So, get ready to venture into the wilderness of the Amazon River and rainforest. Subscribe to the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel and don't miss out on this exciting exploration. Join Detective Alex Cardinale as he delves into the mysterious and often chilling world of Amazonian crimes in this special edition of Amazonian Week. Venture into South America and uncover the dark secrets lurking within the Amazon. Crime enthusiasts, this episode is for you. What you'll discover. Crimes in South America. Explore the variety of crimes that occur in this vast and diverse region. Infamous Amazonian crimes. Delve into some of the most notorious crimes, including murders of environmental defenders. Learn about the courageous individuals who lost their lives protecting the Amazon. The Putumayo Genocide, 1879 to 1930. Uncover the harrowing history of this tragic event. Illegal gold mining. Discover the environmental and human cost of this illicit industry. Chilling serial killers. Meet some of South America's most infamous serial killers. Pedro Alonso López, convicted of 110 murders, suspected in over 300 across Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia. Luis Alfredo Garavito, known for the horrific crimes against over 100 boys. Watch the episode and immerse yourself in the compelling world of Amazonian crimes. Please welcome your host, Detective Alex Cardinale.
Hello everyone, Detective Alex Cardinale here, thrilled to be part of Amazonian Week. I, Detective Alex Cardinale, welcome you to study Amazonian crimes with me. On this special Amazonian Week times On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale episode, we're going to dive deep into the crimes in South America and the Amazon River and rainforest. So, here's what's on the agenda for this special episode. Learn about the types of crimes committed in the Amazon. Learn about the crime rates in South America. Learn about the infamous South American crimes like the Putumayo Genocide, gold rush, gold mining, and more. Learn about famous serial killers from South America, and much more. It's all about Amazonian crimes as we continue Amazonian Week, and I, Detective Alex Cardinale, am proud to talk about South American crimes. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's kick off the show by discussing types of crimes that are committed in South America. Crimes happen in nearly every country, including the USA and, of course, in South America. What kind of crimes are committed in South America? Well, let's find out right now. Now, crimes in South America and the Amazon basin split into urban transnational networks and environmental exploitation syndicates. Environmental crimes in the Amazon region are driven by highly organized criminal syndicates operating across remote, porous borders. These include things like illegal logging. Highly coordinated syndicates harvest protected timber species like mahogany and ivy. They use forest permits and launder the wood into global supply chains. Wildcat mining. Illegal gold mining operations destroy riverbeds and use toxic mercury to extract gold. This poisons the Amazon River system and indigenous water sources. Biopiracy and wildlife tracking. Smuggling networks capture and export rare birds, reptiles, mammals, and endemic plant species. These are sold illegally to international collectors and pharmaceutical researchers. Land grabbing. Criminals clear public or indigenous land by burning sections of the rainforest. They use forged land titles to sell the land for cattle ranching and soy cultivation. Eco-violence. Targeted assassinations, threats, and human rights abuses are committed against environmental activists, park rangers, and indigenous leaders who defend protected territories. And now we are going to talk about transnational and organized crime. The Amazon River serves as a primary logistical highway for international drug cartels due to minimal radar coverage and vast unpoliced waterways. Cocaine trafficking. Major drug cartels use remote Amazon River systems and clandestine airstrips. They transport cocoa paste and refined cocaine from Andean production hubs to Atlantic ports for global export. River piracy. Armed criminal gangs operate along major river corridors, including the Amazon, Solomos, and Putumayo rivers. They violently hijack cargo boats, passenger ferries, and fuel barges. Weapons smuggling. Illegal forearms, military-grade explosives, and ammunition flow through porous border regions to arm drug factions and illegal mining militias. Human trafficking and forced labor. Criminal networks traffic vulnerable workers into remote parts of the rainforest. Victims face debt bondage and forced labor in illegal logging camps, mines, and cocoa plantations. Urban and street crimes in South America. Urban centers across South America experience high rates of traditional property and violent crimes. Express kidnapping. Short-term abductions where victims are forced to withdraw cash from ATMs before being released. Armed robbery. Street muggings, phone snatching, and vehicle theft carried out by individuals or small gangs, frequently involving firearms or knives. Extortion. Local gangs and organized crime syndicates run protection rackets targeting small businesses, public transit operators, and neighborhoods. Those are the type of crimes that are committed in South America and the Amazon River and Amazon rainforest. So basically in South America, it is a lot of environmental crimes, there's some robberies, and there's a lot of murders. So basically, environmental crimes, robbery, and homicides are the crimes that take place in South America. So that leads us to our next topic. What is the crime rate like in South America? What is the crime rate in South America? Let's find out right now. And a shout out to a legendary viewer. Renee's in the house. Hey, Renee, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're having a great day. All right, so let's talk about crime rates in South America. Crime rates in South America are highly polarized, characterized by some of the world's highest urban homicide rates, alongside skyrocketing rates of unregulated environmental destruction in the Amazon basin. Violent crime metrics vary drastically by country and region across South America, driven primarily by drug trafficking and gang territorial wars. Ecuador. Ecuador currently holds the highest homicide rate in South America, spiking past 40 to 50 homicides per 100,000 residents due to intense cartel warfare over coastal shipping ports. Venezuela and Colombia. They maintain chronically high violent crime rates, with national homicide averages fluctuating between 25 and 35 per 100,000 residents. Brazil experiences intense regional polarization. Major cities like Rio de Janeiro and Salvador see homicide rates exceeding 30 per 101,000, while some regions remain significantly safer. The Southern Cone, which includes Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay, features the lowest violent crime rates on the continent, with homicides generally remaining under 5 to 8 per 100,000 residents. Crime in the Amazon rainforest is measured less by traditional street statistics and more by the scale of environmental destruction and localized violence against rural populations. Deforestation and land theft. Organized crime rigs illegally clear roughly 10,000 to 13 square kilometers of Amazon rainforest annually to launder land for cattle and timber. Illegal gold mining. Thousands of illegal mining operations destroy protected riverbeds. In regions like Brazil's Yanomami territory, illegal mining camps have caused catastrophic spikes in local malaria and mercury poisoning rates. Rural homicide rates. While municipal averages look low due to sparse populations, targeted violence is extreme. The Amazon frontiers feature a disproportionately high per capita assassination rate for indigenous leaders, land activists, and park rangers. Riverine piracy. Waterway robbery on the Amazon River and its major tributaries, like the Somalis, is at an all-time high. Armed pirate syndicates regularly hijack commercial supply boats, passenger ferries, and fuel barges. And those are the crime rates in South America. And now we're going to talk about some of the most infamous crimes in South America. And we're going to learn about some of the most deadliest crimes to take place in South America. Thank you, Renee. Renee says this is a great live stream topic. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. When I decided I was going to do an entire week dedicated to Amazon, river, and rainforest, I figured I needed to do something a little bit different than just animals and fish. I figured I had to cover the actual life there. So we're going to talk about crimes tonight and tragedies tomorrow. And thank you for tuning in once again. I always appreciate seeing you in the chat and participating. That is awesome. All right. So right now we are going to, there we go. Right now, we're going to talk about some of the most infamous crimes to happen in South America and the Amazon River and rainforest. The most infamous crimes in South America and the Amazon basin generally fall into three distinct categories: targeted assassinations of environmental defenders, massacres of indigenous communities by illegal loggers, miners, and highly publicized cartel violence or high-profile kidnappings. So the most infamous crimes in South America are assassinations of environmental defenders, massacres of indigenous communities, and highly publicized cartel violence or high-profile kidnappings. All right, so some of these include the murder of Bruno Pereira and Dom Phillips from 2022. Brazilian indigenous expert Bruno Pereira and British journalist Dom Phillips were ambushed and shot to death in the remote Javari Valley of the Amazon. They were documenting illegal fishing and poaching networks invading indigenous lands. The assassination of Sister Dorothy Stang, 2005. An American-born Catholic nun and fierce defender of poor farmers and the Amazon rainforest, Stang was shot 6 times at point-blank range in Peru, Brazil. The murder was ordered by powerful land ranchers who wanted her land reform project shut down. The killing of Chico Mendes, 1988, a legendary Brazilian rubber tapper and environmentalist. Mendes pioneered the movement to protect the Amazon from catastrophic cattle ranching. He was assassinated at his home by a local rancher, drawing global media outrage to the lawlessness of the rainforest frontier. The Hawksmoor Massacre, 1993. An illegal group of gold miners crossed into Yanomami territory near the Brazil-Venezuela border and massacred 16 Yanomami indigenous people, including women and children. This marks one of the few historical cases officially recognized as a genocide by Brazilian courts. The Buga Massacre, 2009. In the Peruvian Amazon, Native communities blockaded a highway to protest government decrees, allowing oil and logging corporations onto ancestral land. The resulting police clash left over 30 people dead, both police and indigenous protesters, and sparked nationwide political fallout. High-profile urban and cartel crimes from South America. The assassination of presidential candidate Fernando Villavicencio, 2023. Reflecting Ecuador's recent surge in cartel violence, presidential candidate Villavicencio was shot and killed, leaving a campaign rally in Quito. He was an outspoken anti-corruption journalist targeting transnational cocaine syndicates. The kidnapping of Ingrid Betancourt, 2002 to 2008. Colombian presidential candidate Ingrid Betancourt was abducted by the FARC guerrilla group in the southern jungle regions. She was held hostage deep in the Amazon jungle under brutal conditions for over 6 years before being rescued by a military operation. The Palace of Justice Siege, 1985. The M19 guerrilla group storming Colombia's Supreme Court in Bogota resulted in a bloody 2-day standoff that left over 100 people dead, including 11 of the country's 25 Supreme Court justices. The operation was heavily rumored to have been funded by drug kingpin Pablo Escobar to destroy extradition documents. And one of the worst crimes to happen in the Amazon is the Putumayo Genocide, 1879 to 1930. The Putumayo Genocide was the systematic enslavement, torture, and mass murder of an estimated 40,000 to 100,000 indigenous people in the Amazon rainforest between 1879 and 1912. It occurred during the height of the Amazon rubber bloom along the Putumayo River, a disputed border region primarily controlled by Peru and Colombia. The atrocities represented one of the most disturbing environmental and human rights crimes in South American history. The genocide was engineered by commercial forces extracting wild rubber to supply the booming global automotive and industrial markets. The main perpetrator was Peruvian businessman Julio Cesar Arana, who founded the J.C. Arana y Hermanos Company, later registered in London as the Peruvian Amazon Company. All right. All right, so those are some of the infamous crimes that are committed in South America and the Amazon. And now we're going to talk about the Putumayo Genocide. We're going to talk about it more in depth. So here we go, the Putumayo Genocide. Now, I already gave you an introduction to it. It is a deadly genocide with over 40,000 to 1,000 indigenous peoples dying. The genocide was engineered by commercial forces getting wild rubber. The Peruvian businessman Julio Cesar Arana founded the company. The system of debt bondage. Local indigenous groups, predominantly the Huruto, Witoto, Bora, Osina, and Adonaqua nations, were forced into slave labor. The company used a fraudulent debt system to legally claim ownership over human beings. Enforced armed militas. Arona hired ruthless overseers, including over 200 armed mercenaries from Barbados. They were tasked with enforcing strict rubber harvest quotas using absolute and bitter violence. Methods of violence and atrocities. The Peruvian Amazon Company used systematic terror to minimize rubber output and prevent rebellion. Quota enforcement. Indigenous workers who failed to meet their heavy rubber weight quotas were brutally flogged, starved, or dismembered hands, ears, and genitals. So if the workers did not do as told or they failed to meet the quota, they had their hands, ears, and genitals dismembered. That is gross. Mass execution and sadism. Overseers routinely burned entire villages, decapitated resistant workers, and used victims for target practice, and they also held families hostage. Women and children were systematically subject to sexual violence and torture. Disease and famine. Because indigenous populations were forced to harvest rubber instead of tending to their agricultural crops, widespread famine struck the region. This layout left them highly vulnerable to European diseases like smallpox, wiping out entire tribal lineages. The atrocities remained a hidden corporate secret until whistleblowers and international journalists exposed the company's actions. Initial leaks. 1907, journalist Benjamin Saladena Rocca and Walter Hardenberg published eyewitness accounts detailing the horrors of Arana's camps, calling global attention to the Devil's Paradise. The Casement Mission, 1910. Because the PAC was registered on the London Stock Exchange, the British government dispatched Sir Roger Casement, an Irish diplomat who had previously exposed King Leopold II's atrocities in the Belgian Congo, to investigate. The Blue Book, 1912. Casement traveled deeply into the Putumayo River networks and confirmed the genocide. His official report detailed horrific corporate crimes, sparking international outrage and forcing the British courts to dissolve the Peruvian Amazon Company. Despite the international condemnation, the legal and social outcomes for the region were deeply tragic. The indigenous population of the Putumayo region plummeted by over 75 to 90% in less than 3 decades. Some smaller tribes were completely driven to extinction. Lack of accountability. Julio Cesar Arana was never convicted of his crimes. He leveraged his vast wealth to enter Peruvian politics, serving as a senator and defending his actions under the guise of nationalizing and securing Peru's Amazon frontiers. The end of the boom. The genocide only subsided when English botanists successfully smuggled rubber tree seeds out of Brazil, establishing massive plantations in Southeast Asia that collapsed the South American wild rubber market. And that is our first crime we focused on. That is the Putumayo Genocide from 1879 to 1930. Well, coming up next here on Amazon Week Times On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale, we're going to talk about murders of environmental defenders here on this special episode of On the Case. But first, I want to invite you to a very special Saturday with Alex Cardinale taking place this Saturday. Amazonian Week meets Saturday with Alex Cardinale, and you're invited.
Amazonian Saturday with Alex Cardinale. Get ready for an unforgettable adventure as we dive into the heart of the Amazon River and rainforest. Join us on Saturday, June 27th, 2026 at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific for a special episode of Saturday with Alex Cardinale, exclusively on YouTube. What's in store? Explore the wild, animals of the world, meet the fascinating inhabitants of the Amazon, including the agile spider monkey, the sleepy sloth, the colorful toucan, and the powerful black caiman. Dive into the deep. Aqua Alex featured fish. Discover the aquatic wonders of the Amazon with the Milosoma silver dollar, canidru, chameleon whiptail catfish, and the colossal monster of the deep, the Piraliba catfish. Hot take. Top 5 places to visit in South America. Whether you're dreaming of your next vacation or just curious, find out the must-see destinations. Saturday Buzzer Challenge. Will Alex succeed? In a thrilling twist, Alex has 5 minutes to share his insights on the Amazon River and rainforest. If he succeeds, we challenge you to share your favorite Amazonian animals and this episode on your social media. If not, Alex must pay the piper. Fun and games. 3 rounds of 2 truths and a lie. Test your knowledge about Peru, Brazil, and Venezuela. Can you spot the lie? Don't miss out on this exciting journey. Tune in live at youtube.com/AlexCardinale2026 and be part of the adventure. Let's celebrate the wonders of the Amazon together.
All right, so right now we're going to talk about the murders of environmental defenders. South America is the deadliest region in the world for environmental defenders, routinely accounting for over 70% of global assassinations targeting land and nature protectors. According to annual data tracked by investigative organizations like Global Witness, hundreds of activists, park rangers, and indigenous community leaders are murdered across this continent, predominantly within the Amazon basin. The shocking statistics: regional dominance. Between 70% and 75% of all documented land defender murders globally occur in Latin America. the deadliest country. Colombia routinely registers the highest number of killings globally, often exceeding 70 to 80 assassinations per year, driven by armed groups competing for control of rural areas. The Amazon crisis. Roughly 1 in 3 global killings of environmental defenders happens directly inside the Amazon rainforest biome, spanning Brazil, Colombia, Peru, and Venezuela. Targeted demographics. Indigenous people make up a disproportionate 30 to 45% of all victims, despite compromising less than 10% of the regional population. Primary drivers of violence. The murders are not random street crimes, they are targeted contract-style assassinations engineered by powerful economic syndicates and criminal networks to silence opposition to resource extraction. Agribusiness and land grabbing criminal syndicates hire private militias to assassinate local leaders who protest this illegal burning and clearing of protected rainforests for cattle ranching and soy production. Illegal gold mining. Wildcat miners heavily arm themselves and violently attack indigenous communities that block access to mineral-rich riverbeds, poisoning local waters with mercury in the process. Narco-trafficking corridors. Drug cartels use remote Amazon River pathways and national parks to transport cocaine. Defenders who report illegal airstrips or cocoa plantations are systematically executed. Corporate loggers. Illegal timber rings target community leaders who guard ancient, high-value trees like mahogany and ivy. Several high-profile cases have exposed the systematic lawlessness of the Amazon frontier to international media. Bruno Pereira and Dom Phillips, 2022, from Brazil. A prominent Brazilian indigenous expert and a British journalist were ambushed and shot to death in the remote Javari Valley. They were actively documenting illegal fishing and poaching syndicates invading native territories. Sister Dorothy Stang, 2005, Brazil. An American-born Catholic nun who spent decades fighting for land reform and rainforest protection. She was shot 6 times at point-blank range by gunmen hired by powerful local ranchers. Chico Menendez, 1988, Brazil. A legendary rubber tapper who organized peaceful resistance against destructive cattle ranching. His assassination sparked a modern international movement to protect the Amazon. Juana Pereira, 2020, Colombia. An eco-tourism activist who fiercely opposed the construction of a major commercial port on Colombia's pristine Pacific coast, which would have devastated local marine ecosystems. She was executed by a local drug cartel. And those are the murders of environmental defenders. Now, let's talk about some bank robberies that have taken place in South America. No matter where in the world where there's money, there's going to be bank robberies. Whether it's in the United States, South America, Asia, or other countries, people need money, so they're going to steal to get it. So, let's talk about some bank robberies from South America. The most infamous bank robberies in South America are characterized by massive tactical scale, multi-month tunnel excavations, and military-grade firepower. Because of intense criminal network coordination, the continent has hosted some of the largest and most complex heists in global history. The Banco Central heist in Fortaleza, Brazil, 2005. This is widely considered one of the most sophisticated and successful bank robberies ever executed. The amount, 164.7 million South American dollars, which is approximately 70 million US dollars at the time, weighing over 7.7 tons. The method, a gang of roughly 25 criminals rented a commercial property 2 blocks away from the bank under the guise of a synthetic turf landscaping company. Over the course of 3 months, they dug a 265-foot, 78-meter tunnel that ran 13 feet beneath the city streets directly into the bank vault. The ingenuity. The tunnel was a massive engineering feat. It was reinforced with wood paneling, lit with electric lighting, and equipped with a sophisticated ventilation system. The thief successfully bypassed all motion sensors and seismic alarms, entering the vault over a weekend without anyone noticing until Monday morning. The aftermath. Only a small fraction of the money was ever recovered. The heist triggered a brutal wave of kidnappings and assassinations among the gang members themselves as rival factions fought over the stolen cash. A bank robbery from Paraguay in 2017 was described by the local media as the robbery of the century. This heist resembled a full-scale military invasion. The amount, $11.7 million, was stolen from the Prosegur private cash storage vault. The method, 30 to 50 heavily armed commandos belonging to Brazil's most powerful prison gang, the First Capital Command, launched a coordinated midnight siege on the border city of Cidade del Este. The chaos. The gang used military-grade assault rifles, C4 explosives, and a 50 caliber anti-aircraft guns. They blockaded the police station, torched over a dozen cars to create burning street barricades, and sniper-targeted responding officers while using high explosives to blow the front off the armored facility. The gang escaped across the nearby Parana River via speedboats back into Brazil, where a massive joint military and police manhunt eventually led to gun battles and the arrest of several suspects. So, wow, bank robberies in South America are deadly, but they are definitely smart and definitely dangerous. The final bank robbery we're going to talk about comes from Argentina in 2006. This heist is legendary for using intellectual cunning and psychological manipulation over raw violence. $19 million in cash and luxury jewels from 143 safety deposit boxes at the Banco Rio in Acoso. A crew of thieves armed with fake plastic toy guns entered the bank and took 23 hostages. They deliberately dragged out negotiations with a massive police force outside for hours, requesting pizza for the hostages to project a relaxed, amateur atmosphere. While the police were focused on the front negotiation, the crew was using a pre-dug underground tunnel connecting the bank basement to the city's storm sewage system. They loaded the cash onto motorized inflatable boats and escaped down the dark tunnels. The calling card. When elite police forces finally stormed the building, they found the hostages completely unharmed and the vault empty. On the wall, the thief left a famous note: "In a neighborhood of rich folks, without weapons or grudges, it's just money, not love." Very, very interesting for sure. And those are the South American bank robberies that have taken place in the Amazon and in South America. Well, coming up next, we're going to learn about illegal gold mining, and then we're going to talk about some serial killers from South America. But I want to invite you to this Saturday's Epic Saturday. This Saturday, Amazonian Week takes over, and it's Amazonian Saturday with Alex Cardinale. And here is what you can expect this Saturday on Amazonian Saturday. There's going to be 3 rounds of Two Truths and a Lie on Peru, Brazil, and Venezuela. The animals of the world will be the sloth, toucan, spider monkey, and black caiman. There will be 4 featured fish, including the black pacu, the Malosoma silver dollar, and a couple others. The Saturday buzzer will be on the Amazon River and rainforest, and much more. It takes place this Saturday, June 27th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, and here's more information on it. On the next Saturday with Alex Cardinale, we travel to South America. It's Amazonian Saturday with Alex Cardinale, and it's live Saturday, June 27th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Join me for Amazonian Saturday, where the entire show will be themed after the Amazon River and rainforest. Learn about the spider monkey, the sloth, the toucan, and the black caiman as our featured animals of the world. Learn about the kangaroo, chameleon, whiptail catfish, and Mylosoma silver dollar as our featured fish from Aqua Alex. Learn about the Pariba catfish, a massive monster of the deep from the Amazon. Hot Take with Alex Cardinale will be the best places to visit in South America. Saturday buzzer, Alex will have 5 minutes to discuss the Amazon River and rainforest. If he succeeds, viewers must share their favorite Amazon animals and share this episode on social media. If Alex fails, he must pay the piper. All that and more, plus 3 rounds of Two Truths and a Lie on Peru, Brazil, and Venezuela, Night of Champions recap, and more. Get ready to learn about the Amazon River and rainforest on Amazonian Saturday, live this Saturday, June 27th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, right here on Alex Cardinale Entertainment. All right now we're going to talk about illegal gold mining. Illegal gold mining is one of the most destructive criminal industries in South America. Driven by high global gold prices, this multi-billion-dollar illicit market has surpassed cocaine trafficking in probability and profitability for several regional cartels. This industry operates through highly organized criminal syndicates that slash through the Amazon rainforest, devastate indigenous territories, and poison the continent's major river networks. This crisis spans across the entire Amazon basin, but it is heavily concentrated in specific borderlands and ecological reserves. The Yanomama territory, Brazil, Venezuela, the largest indigenous reservoir in Brazil, faces an ongoing humanitarian crisis due to tens of thousands of illegal miners invading ancestral lands. Peru, the Madre de Dios region, known as the ground zero of South American illegal mining. Vast swaths of pristine Amazon rainforest have been completely transformed into toxic, cratered sand deserts easily visible from space. The Chaco and Amazon regions, Colombia, left-wing guerrilla groups like the ELN and drug cartels control heavily armed mining operations along rivers to fund their insurgencies. Unlike tropical and traditional mining, garimpo relies on primitive, highly destructive, and toxic extraction methods, which include mercury poisoning. Miners use liquid mercury to bind with gold particles found in river silt. The toxic mercury is then burned off, releasing vapors into the air and dumping thousands of tons of raw mercury into the Amazon River system. This bile accumulates up the food chain, creating irreversible neurological damage, blindness, and birth defects in local fish-eating communities. Mining crews use high-pressure water hoses to blast away riverbanks and topsoil, destroying ancient rainforests. The resulting mud completely clogs river channels, destroying aquatic ecosystems and changing the course of vital waterways. And let's not forget the deadly diseases they cause. The millions of stagnant, muddy craters left behind by mining dredges serve as perfect breeding grounds for mosquitoes, which causes massive explosions of malaria, dengue, and yellow fever among nearby populations. All right, now we're going to start talking about serial killers, and we're going to start with the monster of the Andes, Pedro Alonso López. Pedro Alonso López, known as the Monster of the Andes, is one of the most prolific serial killers in documented history. An Ecuadorian predator, he was convicted of murdering 57 young girls, but confessed to stalking, violating, and killing over 300 victims across Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru during the 1970s. His current whereabouts remain completely unknown, making him one of the world's most infamous missing fugitives. Lopez targeted vulnerable, impoverished young girls, usually between the ages of 9 and 12, who were working or walking alone in open-air markets in rural areas. He lured his victims away with small gifts, false promises, or fake stories. He would then take them to remote Indian fields, isolated valleys, or jungle fridges along the Amazon basin where he violated and strangled them. His killing spree crossed international borders. Colombia, he claimed to have murdered over 100 girls here before being captured by a local tribe. The tribe attempted to execute him, but an American missionary intervened and persuaded them to turn him over to the police, who later released him without charge due to a lack of evidence. In Peru, he claimed to have killed over 100 victims. In Ecuador, he moved his operations to Ecuador, killing more than 110 girls in a short span of time. Lopez attempted to abduct a young girl in an open-air market in Ambato, Ecuador. Local market women recognized his suspicious behavior, cornered him, and detained him until police arrived. Initially uncooperative, Lopez began confessing to his crimes after a sympathetic police officer gained his trust. He led authorities to mass graves in the Andean foothills where police excavated the remains of 53 young girls. Showing a complete lack of remorse, Lopez famously declared during a television interview that he considered himself the man of the century and believed he deserved a monument built in his honor. At the time of his trial, the absolute maximum prison sentence allowed under Ecuadorian law was 16 years. He was sentenced to this maximum in 1980. Released from Ecuador in 1994. Due to good behavior and a reduction in his sentence, Lopez was released from Ecuadorian prison 2 years early in 1994. Psychiatric confinement. Upon his release from Ecuador, he was deported to Colombia, where he was declared legally insane and committed to a psychiatric hospital in Bogota. And that is the monster of the Andes, Pedro Alonso López. Well, coming up next, we have 3 more serial killers to talk about here on this episode of On the Case Times Amazonian Week, featuring South American crimes. But right now, I want to invite you to check out my flagship program every Saturday here on the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. My flagship program is called Saturday with Alex Cardinale, and it airs every Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, right here on the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. And here's what you can expect every Saturday on Saturday with Alex Cardinale.
Tune in to Saturday with Alex Cardinale, your weekend entertainment and educational talk show, airing every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, on YouTube channel Alex Cardinale Entertainment, youtube.com/Alex Cardinale 2026. Join us for an exciting weekend experience with Saturday with Alex Cardinale, where entertainment meets education in the most fun way possible. Since its debut in 2022, the show has been a hub of excitement, blending Alex's diverse passions into one spectacular program. What to expect? Tropical fish adventures. Dive deep into the world of aquatics with Aqua Alex Cardinale as your guide. Culinary delights. Get inspired in the kitchen with unique cooking tips and recipes from Chef Alex Cardinale. WWE Insights. Stay up to date with the latest happenings in the world of wrestling. Sports passion. Cheer along with Alex's favorite teams, the New York Yankees and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mystery unraveled. Join Detective Alex Cardinale for thrilling investigations. Saturday Buzzer. Alex has 5 minutes to discuss a topic. If he succeeds, viewers must do a favor for Alex. If he fails, he must pay the piper. Hot Take. Alex's take on popular or controversial topics. And so much more. Special appearances by Chef Alex Cardinale, bringing you culinary wonders. Aqua Alex Cardinale, your aquatic expert. Detective Alex Cardinale, solving the mysteries that intrigue you. Get involved. Host your own segment. Have a passion or talent you want to share on the show? Email us at alexgoyankeescardinale19@gmail.com to become a part of the Saturday with Alex Cardinale family. Join us every Saturday for a blend of entertainment, learning, and fun with Alex Cardinale. Don't miss out on this vibrant weekend adventure every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
All right. Now we're going to talk about a killer by the name of Pedro Rodriguez Filho. Pedro Rodriguez Filho, widely known as Pedrinho Matador, Little Peter the Killer, was one of Brazil's most notorious vigilante serial killers. He claimed responsibility for killing over 100 victims, officially convicted of 71 murders. Unlike most serial killers, his targets were primarily other criminals, including drug traffickers, rapists, pedophiles, and murderers, earning him the title of the Brazilian Dexter. He was assassinated in March 2023 at the age of 68 years old. The origins of Pedrinho Matador Rodriguez Filho's violent life began even before he was born. He suffered a skull deformity because his father kicked his pregnant mother during a domestic assault. He attempted to murder an older cousin by pushing him into a sugarcane press during a fight. His first kill came at the age of 14. He shot and killed the deputy mayor of Alfenas, Minas Gerais, because the official had fired his father from a school guard job over alleged food theft. Shortly after, he tracked down and killed the actual thief. The gang wars. He fled to Sao Paulo, where he took over local drug dens and murdered several rival gang members. The revenge on his father. His most notorious and horrific crime occurred when he was a teenager and involved his own family, the Catalyst. His father brutally murdered his mother with a machete. The execution. Pedrinho visited his father at the local prison. He stabbed his father to death, cut out a piece of his heart, and chewed on it and threw it away. Ugh, gross. Prison slaughter and sentence. Rodriguez Filho was arrested in 1973. While he entered prison with a relatively short sentence, his violent behavior inside the prison system extended his incarceration for decades. Jailhouse killings. He murdered at least 47 fellow inmates while incarcerated. He claimed he only killed those who deserved it or who had attempted to ambush him. He famously executed his cellmate because the man snored too loud and killed another because he did not like his face. The 400-year sentence. His constant violence behind bars caused his cumulative prison sentence to skyrocket to over 400 years. Wow, that is crazy. Our next serial killer is known by the name of Carlos Eduardo Robledo Puch. Carlos Eduardo Robledo Puch, famously dubbed the Angel of Death, is one of the most notorious serial killers in Argentine history. Operating in the early 1970s, his angelic curly hair appearance starkly contrasted with his extreme brutality. He was convicted of 11 murders, 17 robberies, and multiple sexual assaults, all committed before he turned 20 years old. He remains Argentina's longest-serving prisoner, having been incarcerated for over 54 continuous years. The Killing Spree, 1971 to 1972. Over a terrifying 11-month period between March 1971 and February 1972, he terrorized the suburbs of Buenos Aires. He operated alongside two different accomplices, Jorge Ibanez and later Hector Samaza. He targeted businesses, factories, and nightclubs after hours for armed robberies. If he encountered any witnesses, including night watchmen, caretakers, or sleeping bystanders, he executed them instantly without zero hesitation or remorse. He even betrayed his own. He showed no loyalty to his criminal partners. Jorge Ibanez died in a highly suspicious car crash in August 1971 while Robledo Puch was driving. Puch walked away completely uninjured. Hector Salmazo, during a factory robbery in February 1972, Salmazo panicked. Carlos shot him dead on the spot. To prevent police from identifying his partner, he used a blowtorch to brutally disfigure Somoza's face and hands before fleeing. Wow, that is absolutely crazy. All right, coming up next, it is our last and final crime on this amazing episode. We're going to talk about the Beast, Luis Alfredo Garavito, next here on Amazonian Week Times on the Case. But right now, I'm inviting you to our biggest Saturday of the summer, and that's going to be the USA 250th Saturday with Alex Cardinale, taking place 1 week from this Saturday on the 4th of July.
Celebrate the 4th of July and USA's 250th birthday with Alex Cardinale. Get ready to wave those flags and light up the sky. Join us for a spectacular celebration of the 4th of July and the 250th birthday of the United States with Saturday with Alex Cardinale live. Date: Saturday, July 4th, 2026. Time: 10 p.m. ET, 7 p.m. PT. Where? YouTube channel www.youtube.com/AlexCardinale2026. What's happening? Join Alex Cardinale for an unforgettable night filled with fun, facts, and festivities. Here's what you can expect. Animals of the world. Get up close with the majestic bald eagle and the intriguing alligator snapping turtle. Aqua Alex's featured fish. Dive into the aquatic world with the largemouth bass and the ancient bowfin. Monster of the deep. Discover the fascinating alligator gar. Hot take. Explore the best American foods that make your mouth water. 3 rounds of 2 truths and a lie. Test your knowledge with USA, Civil War, and Revolutionary War trivia. Saturday buzzer. Can Alex conquer the challenge of discussing the history of the USA in just 5 minutes? Success means a happy 4th of July for all. Failure means he pays the piper. Chef Alex. Learn to whip up delicious 4th of July recipes. Detective Alex. Dive into the mysteries of 4th of July crimes. Don't miss the excitement and celebration. Prepare for a night of patriotism and entertainment like no other. Tune in and be part of this historic celebration. Remember to subscribe to Alex Cardinale Entertainment on YouTube, so you won't miss a minute of the action.
All right, and now it's our main event. We're going to talk about the Beast, Luis Alfredo Garavito. He is the most prolific serial killer in Colombian history and one of the deadliest in the world. He was convicted of murdering 138 children, though his total victim count is estimated to exceed 300 across Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. He died in prison in late 2023. The crime wave, 1992 to 1999. Over a 7-year period, Garavito exploited the chaos of the Colombian internal conflict to systematically hunt vulnerable young boys. He targeted impoverished boys, aged 6 to 16, including street vendors, orphans, and rural peasant children. He was a master of disguise. He posed as a monk, a street vendor, a charity worker, or a handicapped traveler to gain the trust of his victims. He lured them into a remote rural area or ravine with offers of money, soda, or jobs. Once isolated, he bound, severely tortured, sexually abused, and decapitated his victims, often carving distinct marks into his body. Garavito's killing spree ended on April 22, 1999, when he attempted to assault a young boy in Villa Viciano. A local sugarcane worker intervened, detained Garavito, and handed him over to the authorities. Police initially held him for attempted rape, but forensic investigators quickly linked his DNA and shoe prints to mass graves of young boys discovered across 11 Colombian departments. Faced with overwhelming physical evidence, Garavito collapsed in tears and confessed to 140 murders. The outrageous sentence loophole. Garavito's case exposed massive flaws in the Colombian penal system, triggering national outrage and legal reforms. At the time of his trial, the maximum prison sentence under Colombian law was 30 years. Because he confessed and assisted police in finding bodies, his sentence was legally reduced to a mere 22 years. And that is the Beast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an honor and a pleasure to talk about crimes from South America and the Amazon River and rainforest. I, Detective Alex Cardinale, want to thank you all for tuning in and learning about crimes that happen in South America. Tomorrow night, I'll be back to discuss tragic accidents that happen in South America. Join me tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, for Amazonian Week times Turning Point. We'll learn about tragic accidents like boat crashes and more. Have a great night, everyone, and thank you for watching. I, Alex Cardinale, would like to say thank you for watching this live stream on the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. I personally hope you enjoyed the live stream and the video. If you did enjoy the live stream, please smash that like button and please share this video on social media so that your friends and family can enjoy it as well. If you are a first-time viewer or new to my YouTube channel, I highly recommend hitting that subscribe button and ding the notification bell for notifications when I go live next or when I upload a video. I highly recommend subscribing so you're a member of the ACE community. Thank you for watching ACE.